The Buddha's Teachings. Why All Life is Equal. Chapter 1. A Question for the Buddha. One evening, as the heat of ancient India softened, Buddha and his disciples sat by the Ganges River, peacefully basking in the gentle glow of the setting sun after their meditation. On this particular day, the disciples had gathered with a question that weighed on their hearts. Buddha's teachings often delved into the depths of peace of mind and enlightenment, but today's inquiry took a different turn. Ananda, one of Buddha's closest disciples, spoke quietly. "Master, why do you say that all life is equal?" Ananda's question intrigued the other disciples, drawing them closer in anticipation of Buddha's response. The Buddha calmly closed his eyes for a brief moment, and with a slight smile, began to answer. Ananda, understanding that all life is equal requires us to first recognize how our view of the world is clouded by bias. People often compare themselves to others, feeling superior or, conversely, inferior. Such thoughts lead to feelings of inequality. The disciples listened intently as Buddha's words sank in. Buddha then stood and pointed to the flowing river, posing another question. "Do you see each drop of water in this river as something separate or different?" The disciples shook their heads, responding, "No." "That is correct. Every drop of water is part of the same river, flowing as one. In the same way, all our lives are part of one continuous flow." Chapter 2. The Value and Role of Life. Ananda bowed his head, absorbing Buddha's words. Yet a doubt still lingered in his mind. "Master, we often tend to see certain lives as lesser than our own. Why do we see ourselves above smaller beings, like insects or animals?" Buddha gently responded to Ananda's question. "That happens because humans often take pride in their wisdom and strength, looking down on other lives. However, wisdom and strength should not serve as standards for superiority. Instead, they should guide us to help others and grow together. Every life has a purpose. Birds fly in the sky, and insects crawl along the ground. This is their role, and it gives their existence meaning." The disciples nodded as they absorbed the teaching, realizing that they needed to let go of the prejudices in their hearts to embrace the notion of all life's equality. Chapter 3. Learning to put the teaching into practice in the village. The next day, Buddha and his disciples visited a nearby village where many people were burdened by various struggles. They gathered around Buddha, drawn to his words, hoping for answers to the poverty, illness, and daily hardships they faced. Among them was a farmer who felt he labored endlessly without reward. Burdened by inequality, he turned to Buddha. "Master, I work tirelessly every day, but my life remains difficult. Why am I suffering while others live comfortably? Am I not equal to them?" Buddha listened quietly to the farmer's question, gazing at him with compassion. "Your suffering arises from comparing yourself to others. Many of our sorrows are illusions created by the mind. Though each being plays a different role, all lives are connected in the flow of existence." The farmer was startled, gaining a new perspective from Buddha's words. He began to accept his work's value and his role as part of the village. Chapter 4. The Teaching of Coexistence. Embracing Buddha's teachings, the farmer decided to stop comparing himself to others. Instead, he sought to live in harmony, helping those who, like himself, sustained village life. He shared his newfound understanding with his neighbors. We cannot live alone. By supporting each other, the entire village thrives, he told them. His words resonated, and soon the villagers began to realize the importance of mutual support. With Buddha's teaching, the village gradually moved toward harmony and peace. Both the wealthy and the poor learned to respect and help each other. Chapter 5. Discovering the preciousness of life. On their way to another village, Buddha and his disciples came across a small injured insect by the roadside. Ananda noticed it, feeling a pang in his heart. In the past, he might have ignored such a small creature, but now he felt a deep respect for its life. Master, I want to help this little creature. How should I go about it? Ananda asked as he gently picked up the insect. Buddha looked at him with a gentle smile and replied, "This insect is part of the same life flow as us. By helping it, you can feel the connection between all lives." Ananda carefully placed the insect in a safer spot, watching it crawl as a quiet sense of fulfillment filled his heart. At that moment, he experienced the truth that all life is indeed equal. Chapter 6. Resolving village conflict and spreading peace. Later, Buddha and his disciples reached another village where tensions had been brewing between the rich and poor. The village elders sought Buddha's guidance on how to end the conflicts dividing the villagers. In this village, the wealthy and poor hold resentment toward one another. How can we restore peace? Buddha acknowledged the elders' request and addressed the villagers. First, you must understand the truth that all beings are equal. True value lies not in wealth or poverty, but in the life itself. Your successes were not achieved by one person alone, but through the efforts of many. A wealthy merchant, initially skeptical, began to understand Buddha's words, realizing his success was supported by the contributions of countless others. Chapter 7. Transformation through unity. Touched by Buddha's teachings, the merchant pledged to support the less fortunate in his village. Once proud of his wealth and achievements, he now recognized his success depended on the entire village's cooperation. He declared, "From now on, I will use my resources for the village's well-being and provide jobs for those in need." The villagers, moved by his words, began to express their willingness to support each other. One farmer spoke up, "Let us strive to help one another and work toward the prosperity of the entire village." Others followed, recognizing the importance of mutual support. Buddha watched in silence, pleased to see the village embracing harmony and cooperation. Chapter 8. Personal growth and new understanding among the disciples. Leaving the village, Buddha and his disciples continued their journey, teaching in various places. As they encountered diverse people and challenges, the disciples grew as well. Sariputta, one of the disciples, approached Buddha with a question. "Master, I have tried to understand the equality of all beings, yet sometimes I still find prejudice and bias within myself. How can I completely overcome this?" Buddha gently replied, "It is human nature. Our hearts create biases unconsciously, stemming from our habits and environment. But we can overcome this. daily practice, meditation, and self-reflection gradually reveal our heart's pure nature, allowing us to release these biases. Sariputta nodded deeply, realizing that the journey to overcome prejudice was one of self-awareness and patience. Chapter 9: Rebirth and the Cycle of Life. One day, Buddha taught the disciples about reincarnation. He explained that all beings are part of an eternal cycle of death and rebirth, living in different forms as humans, animals, or others. The disciples, moved by this profound truth, realized that life is a shared cycle. Buddha's words reaffirmed the belief that all beings are interconnected and equally deserving of respect. Ananda, we must cherish and respect all life, knowing that we share a single cycle of existence, Buddha said. Ananda recalled the small insect he had once saved, realizing that their connection was not merely chance, but part of the cycle. Chapter 10: The Power of Equality in the Present Moment. Buddha continued speaking to his disciples. All beings are connected through past, present, and future. The way we live now affects the lives of ourselves and others in the future. Therefore, we must choose the path of peace, harming none, and striving to coexist harmoniously. The disciples nodded deeply, realizing that their actions affected not only their own lives, but the lives of others as well. Chapter 11: Spreading the Teachings of Equality. Buddha's teachings continued to spread through the disciples. Visiting numerous villages, they spoke of the dignity of all beings, offering compassion and empathy to those in need. Slowly, their teachings inspired positive change within communities. In one village, long-standing disputes began to dissolve as people learned the value of mutual respect. Elsewhere, people who had mistreated animals and nature began to understand the importance of respect for all life. The disciples' real-life experiences helped make the teachings more practical and impactful, embodying the values they spoke of by assisting others. Chapter 12: Finding Joy in Unity and Hope for the Future. In the places they visited, the disciples witnessed the beginnings of peace and harmony. People of all backgrounds learned to appreciate and support one another, leading to more prosperous villages. Embracing Buddha's teachings in their daily lives, they realized that respecting others and treating them with compassion would create a brighter future for all. Conclusion and gratitude. I hope today's talk on the Buddha's teaching that all life is equal resonated with you. By taking this message to heart, each of us can respect others and cultivate a spirit of compassion, building a better world together. If you found something helpful today that brings peace to your heart and motivates you to move forward positively, that is a gift in itself. Please try incorporating these teachings into your daily life, embracing harmony with others.